What are your thoughts on the trending tab? Personally, I think it's pretty frickin' sweet. All the Will Smiths, Jimmy Fallons, Jimmy Kimmels, Murray Franklins, all my favorite YouTubers all in one spot. Alright, for real, nobody really likes the trending page. All the content there caters to single moms who probably are too busy watching those shows on TV to be watching them on YouTube. It's no secret that YouTube certainly prefers some channels far more than others on their platform, sometimes seemingly regardless of how many subs or views they may have. And for a long time, the general consensus has been that they're picking and choosing themselves. Well, that might not be true. The robots could very well be doing that too. Alright, so how would YouTube automatically sort channels by their personal preference? Well, quite recently a lot of information has been coming out, specifically back on the day of October 29th. That was when I got word of something particularly interesting. It got out in several creator groups that some typically hidden data was dug up in the source code of every video on YouTube. This data included two key talking points: the dreaded secret age rating system, and most importantly, the newly discovered P-score. Now I'll talk about the age rating system in a bit, but the P-score will be our point of interest today. Now the funniest part about the P-score is that this has been a system right under our noses the whole time. A system that YouTube actually unveiled back in April of this year, with barely any of us noticing. It is here that explains what the P-score even means. Now the P-score is based off 5 factors: popularity, past and platform protection, and production. Or essentially, get high watch time, get repeated dedicated viewership, be brand suitable. Yeah, I bet people love that one. Make sure people often watch your videos on a television. I shit you not, they actually use that as a factor, likely because that's how single moms watch YouTube. And while I'm not particularly sure how YouTube gathers data on production quality, but I'd assume it's based off how many hairs you can count on Jimmy Kimmel's face. Alright, so with the P-scores for every channel on YouTube essentially being available to look at in the source code, before YouTube patched it out after 3 hours, research was then conducted by myself, some folk in some group chats that I'm in, and by a circle of YouTubers that started spreading the word of this. First thing most of us wanted to figure out was, does traditional media have high P-scores? Unsurprisingly, yeah, they do. In fact, the top 10 highest P-score ratings in the USA alone included Jimmy Fallon, Trevor Noah, Jimmy Kimmel, CBC News, Fox News, BBC News, Will fucking Smith, all with scores just over 1,000. Interestingly enough, PewDiePie has the #1 P-score recorded in Canada, which aligned itself perfectly with Coffee Break's research on the topic of the trending tab, and I believe has a scary correlation to findings with the P-scores. Which my game theory is that the score is different from country to country, to fit their individual trending pages more accurately by culture. And maybe the requirement is more lenient in Canada to hit trending than in the United States. Say maybe a minimum score of 800 instead of 900. The #1 channels hitting or not hitting trending are just one piece of the puzzle. Here I'll put together a rough estimation of what the P-score means for smaller channels, just based off my observations. Roughly 0 to 400 points would generally mean you're a fucking nobody, irrelevant, toiling your life away doing something you love only to fail time and time again. My score was 340. 400 to 700 was typically the scores given to channels that are relatively big but have been stagnating, or alternatively less relevant channels starting to go on a climb upwards. 700 to 900 were the numbers usually given to the creator elite, think JonTron or Vsauce. And finally, 900 and up are almost exclusively traditional media sources. This is the spot where most channels begin to hit trending in the US. Based off this information, my next thought was, oh boy, Mumkey Jones must have a pretty low score. Surprisingly enough though, he was in the roughly 650 range. That's pretty good considering he's been wiped off YouTube more times than I can count, along with calling its CEO a, and I quote,
horse-faced bitch named Susan decided to kill.
Well, it turns out controversies and age ratings very well may not affect the P-scores of YouTube channels as much as we may have thought. Say for example, my friend Koronix, whose videos all got very advertiser-friendly age scores of G and PG, only had a score of 250, which go send love his way, he really needs it. Compared to Benji, who easily had multiple videos rated mature audiences and had a P-score of 750. Or Justin Wang, who also had a score of 750 with such famous videos as The Cum Box. So what's the lesson to be learned here? It's to just make whatever the fuck you want. At the end of the day, YouTube is a company, and regardless of its super advertiser-friendly brand image it wants to put out there, what they care about is whether or not you can garner a profitable audience that will keep coming back for more. So just get out there, make big ideas that people will likely click on, and you'll get somewhere eventually if you got the willpower for it. We're all on the same playing field when it comes to intelligently garnering the attention of a dedicated audience. Except for Will Smith, he wins by default. Special thanks to the patrons such as Blue Neon. Thank you for sending me those snacks on Halloween, it really helped make it feel special. So yeah, let me know what you think of the video in the comments below, and make sure to check out the Create Unknown. I've been editing for them recently, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you'd be down for a podcast all about YouTube and content creator stuff.